All right, welcome back to Arc Salt Lake. Netflix's latest hit documentary, The Crash, revisits the car crash where 2 people were killed. The lone survivor was driver Mackenzie Shirilla. She was convicted of murder and is currently serving 15 years to life. Now, Shirilla never took the stand to defend herself, but did talk to Netflix. Joining us now to talk about this is Emerson of Criminally Obsessed. This resurfaced case has really grabbed a lot of attention, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this on social media. Why don't you review this for us? What happened in this crash?
Well, it all started, is this couple, Dom and Mackenzie, and they had been dating for a long time. They were actually living together. They were a very young couple, by the way, very young, 18 and or 17 at the time, and just 20 years old. And then they had this little group of friends in Strongsville, Ohio. They did everything together, and they had been kind of partying late at night one night. They'd all had what they termed a sleepover, but the sleepover was just where they were all staying at this one house to kind of party and that sort of thing. And at 5:30 in the morning, Mackenzie decides she's going to leave with Dom and another one of the boys, Davian. The 3 of them are in a car. They go down the road, and all of a sudden this car is speeding 100 miles per hour, and it goes straight into a wall, which is absolutely horrific. And yes, there it is. And it's so horrific to watch. It's so shocking because they were so young. And what happened was she was the only one that survived, and she was driving the car. So after some really looking into the different text messages and social media accounts, the prosecutor ended up charging her with murder.
With murder. And was she convicted on those murder charges then?
She absolutely was. And it's shocking in just the fact that we're looking at what the prosecutors termed a murder suicide that she was attempting. The suicide part obviously was not successful. The murders were, and that's what the families were looking for justice. And she got 4 counts of murder because of prior intent, basically, that she was intending to do this. She got 4 counts of felonious assault. She was charged with vehicular homicide and a few others. It was massive charges. But what ended up happening is she is now serving 2 concurrent life sentences in the Ohio prison system. And those 2 life sentences put her at parole after 15 years is the idea. So it's a 15 years to life sentence. So she's spending her life right now in prison.
What evidence was there that she may have been attempting to die by suicide?
This was a young girl who spent a lot of time on social media. And she was also basically what had happened from what we learned in this Netflix documentary, which is a fascinating documentary. They were able to download her phone almost immediately after the crash. And once they did that, they were able to sort of see what was going on in her mind. And then once they got the phones of the young boys, and especially her boyfriend, that there was a lot of friction going on. They sort of termed it sort of a toxic relationship. It was a lot of, you do this, or, using words like I could end my life, that sort of thing. So there was like a lot of terms that looked very guilty as they were kind of going through these things. Like the evidence was pointing towards a young girl who was not. First of all, I think that they're really looking at a psychological profile of her as just so in her head with her own sort of social media influencing, but also just this incredibly toxic, dangerous relationship she was having with her boyfriend.
She claimed that she blacked out before the incident due to her POTS diagnosis.
Right. In POTS, we've heard more and more about this. It's basically a heart condition where you just end up getting very dizzy and lightheaded, and you can black out from POTS. I mean, that is something. And they do have information that she did have pots. Now, she also, it appears, because you look at her social media, you can see her smoking marijuana. And did that, how would that have contributed to something like this? Now, she said that, but the problem that the prosecutor pointed out in this particular crash is that her foot had come off. If she had blacked out, they say her foot would have come off of the accelerator. When she went into that building, her foot was slammed all the way down. There was absolutely no attempt at braking, and she was at 100 miles per hour going straight into the side of the building. I mean, this car was total. The fact that she was able to be extracted from that car and live is incredible. Like, how? So obviously, like, the impact was so severe, it literally tore the car in half.
All right, Ann, we got less than 30 seconds, but I have to ask, she is appealing the case, so where does that stand? What grounds does she have for an appeal?
She's looking for a post-conviction appeal. Yes, she's working on it. There's been a lot of problems with that appeal. The appeal is based on some really clerical errors is one of them. The appeal that she now just has to get in front of a judge. But she's hoping that they're going to be looking at some of the information about pots, and I think she's really going to be trying to, like, push the fact that there are holes in the way they were able to convict her. I mean, it's just very of course she's going to try and appeal it. So they're going to be pushing on all of that, and they're going to be looking at any issues with the way it was filed. So I think that is one of the big things that they're looking at.
Okay. Ann, thank you so much for chatting with us this morning. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Ann is the investigative reporter for Criminally Obsessed, our new true crime team. If you're one of those people who listens to true crime all the time, you're going to want to check out her daily show on YouTube. She's got some of the most fascinating deep dives on the stories that everybody's talking about, including this one. You can click on the QR code on your screen. You'll find Ann's interviews. You can also listen to the Criminally Obsessed podcast on Apple and Spotify.